Me, Chris and Monica, thank you for having me. And I've never been to League City, Texas, right? Is that where I'm at?
Yeah.
I get places, I'm like, where am I at again? Help me understand. And that is my 10-year-old daughter out there. So we have trained her that she will ask for your phone number, and she will follow up with you. So don't give it to her unless you want her to sell you something, okay? So it's so funny that I do a lot of stuff for kids still because I was a high school coach for a decade. And we have something called Success School where kids come and spend a day with me. And we teach them confidence, bounce back, how to find their talents, stuff they would never learn in school, right? And one of the things we teach the kids is they have to get 3 phone numbers before they leave. They have to talk to another person, they have to extract a phone number, and they have to learn how to follow up. Would that be a good skill to learn at 10 years old? So my daughter, here's the deal. I'm going to Dallas next. We're going to Dallas next, and I told her she could not get on the plane unless she sold every book. Can y'all help us out with that today? Sure. Okay, good. So all right, good. So stop by and see her. All right, now, here's the deal. I was a high school basketball coach for a decade. How many of you have ever had a good coach at some point in your life? Okay, it doesn't have to be an athletic coach. That's why you see this big gaudy championship ring. Took a place in Tennessee that had never won a championship in 30 years and basically built a national powerhouse that won 7 of 9 championships and became the #1 team in the country. So when you read the USA Today, we're the #1 team in the United States. And during that period of time, I was always interested in how do I get more out of these players. Okay, so if you have kids, how many of you have kids? I just had I had a daughter last week, right? So I got a new daughter named Emmeline Rose that just came into the world last week. Thank you very much. And so I'm always looking at how do I help this person maximize their talent, right? So moms and dads would bring their kids to me typically at 14 years old, and they all said the same thing. Coach, my daughter's got a lot of, what did it say? Talent. Potential. What about drama? Or attitude? No, they would always say, my daughter has a lot of potential, right? Which is an idea. But potential is an idea of embryonic growth. That I'll be better today than I was yesterday. I'll be better tomorrow than I was today. Potential is an idea that you'll leave here today and have something that you'll be better, right? One of my top success stories in real estate is I took a real estate agent from 35 transactions to 300. He went from being number 43 in his market to #1 in his market. And when I started coaching him, his nickname was Good Time Tommy. He was the biggest partier in the office. He would show up on the weekends and drink the most beer, eat the most pizza. He was totally a goof-off, right? He had no direction, no guidance. At 35 years old, he was living at home with his mother. True story. This year, he will do over 300 transactions. I've got him making $100,000 a month. And when I first started coaching him, he was making no more than $50,000 or $60,000 a year. Okay, so what happened to him? And what happened to him is I used to go to his real estate office because his broker hired me to be their coach, and I would go in and coach his company once a month, every month, and he would literally just look at me. He never took a note. He would just look at me like this. And I would leave going, man, that dude is never going to get anything. He's never going to be anything other than the office joke. The only reason he's doing 35 deals is because he was hooked up to his broker, and his broker had to deal with the builder, and the builder was building the houses, and they were selling the houses. So he didn't have to work hard to sell the 35 houses, right? But over the course of that year of me coaching him, it started to click. And out of all the agents that were in that office, he was the one that was actually the most coachable. And so at the end of that year, he came to me and he said, I want to start hiring you. And he began to pay me $25,000 a year to be his coach. Okay? And that was 7 years ago. Now today, look at what he's done. He's hired X number of agents. He's got 25 agents underneath him. Here's the interesting part. They are all 18 to 22 years old. All young men, typically who had no fathers, no direction, mostly goof-offs, did not go to college. He is now coaching those young men. Some of those young men at 21 years old are making $150,000 a year. Right? He's doing 300 transactions, and he's coaching and developing those people. What did I really do for him? I helped him reach his potential. Right? So the moms and dads would say, my daughter's got a lot of potential, but she just needs something. Right? And then they'll go through a whole list of things she needed. What do you think they said she needed? Discipline, which is a derivative of the word disciple, which means to give yourself to a person or cause you believe in. So I say, do you believe in your future? And everybody says, what? Yes. Yeah. Will you be self-disciplined to that future? Will you become a disciple to that future? Then they would say she needs accountability. Okay, does this sound like something real estate agents need? Can I get a big amen on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Then they say they need structure. They need discipline. They need drive. I call it pray drive. I'll talk about that today. They need confidence. That's what they say the kids need. Okay? And I'd say, thank you for bringing me your daughter, because I have my own little greatness factory here. And when I'm done with your daughter 4 years from today, she will be able to run for President of the United States. That's how confident. And when I say stone cold killer, she will be a little stone cold killer because of what I'm going to teach her over the next 4 years. She'll be able to get any job she wants to in the world. She'll be able to perform at a very high level. She'll be able to show up. She'll be able to sit up in the front 1/3 of her seat. She'll be able to make eye contact. She'll be able to shake a hand. She'll be able to communicate because of the coaching I'm going to give her over the next 4 years. You with me? So I started studying a guy named Dr. Stephen Covey. And Covey wrote the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Principle-Centered Leadership, First Things First. And I began to study business leaders and then bring business concepts to the athletic world. So I would go over here and study business, leadership in business. How does a great business run? Then I'd come over here and teach my 14 to 18-year-old kids these things. And pretty soon we began to win. And the more we won, the more people wanted to know what I was doing to win. It's like when a real estate agent's doing a very high volume, you want to know, what are they doing? How do they market? How do they sell? How do they follow up? How do they convert? How do they create leads? Right? So I was getting this question everywhere I went. What are you doing with those kids? Right? And I'm like, I ain't got time to explain it. I'm trying to win championships. I'm trying to build a national powerhouse. I'm trying to build stone cold killers. Right? And I ain't got time to even talk about this. So I'm going to sit down and start writing books about it. So at 25 years old, I sat down and wrote my first book. That's the first of 17. And I wrote my first book called Changing Lives Through Coaching, because I believe a good coach can change your life. And I wrote that book, and I'm coaching kids. This is what I'm doing. By the way, I'm only making $25,000 a year. Okay? Today, my coaching company does $25,000 a day. At that time, I was making $25,000 a year. I was working 80 hours a week. $25,000. I was tired, worn out, exhausted. I worked 7 days a week, typically 8 hours a day on Sunday after I went to church. Had no life, no friends, no nothing. I was married to one thing, winning. You with me? And we won all the time. So I wrote that book for coaches, but guess who wouldn't buy it? See, I'm about to come out with $1 million follow-up for real estate agents, where I take everything I've coached some of the top agents on, and I'm going to work the book and turn it in and put the real estate stats in there. You see where I'm going with it? And then we're going to sell that. But at that time, I wrote a book for coaches, and they were my competitors. It'd be like you writing a book for other real estate agents, but them going, oh, I ain't listening to them. I know they're kicking my butt, but I got too much pride to actually buy something from them, right or wrong. Does that happen in the world?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I write this book, and I could not sell it. And I didn't really care about selling it because I was a high school coach. But somehow I got in the hands of business people. And I began to get calls at my office from business people. And guess what they said? Coach, here's a call I get over and over and over from a real estate team. Coach, I got a lot of good people on my real estate team, and they have a lot of no issues. Y'all got to pay attention. They got a lot of drama over here in my real estate company, Coach. Here's what they'd say. I can't get them to follow up, can't get them to prospect, can't get them to show up in the office. Coach, I can't get them to do anything. And we know you know how to win. And they would say, will you come over and motivate our people? The word motivate means what? To move. The people who make the most money in real estate move the most. Money follows energy. Money follows circulation. Money follows movement. Money never follows stagnation. Okay? I've coached agents doing 500 transactions a year. I've coached agents doing 300 transactions a year. I've coached a top agent in many states where they personally hired me to be their coach. And here's what I'll tell you about all of them. All of them typically have a hard schedule. That means they show up at the same time every day. They prospect the same number of hours every day. They follow up every single day. And guess what? They're moving. They're moving. They're moving. They're never like, oh, I don't feel like prospecting today. Oh, I don't feel like calling people back today. Oh, I don't feel like it. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. Okay? Do you think Journey feels like singing Don't Stop Believing?
For the 100th time?
Huh?
For the 100th time.
You think the football player feels like getting hit on Sunday? Right? You think the athlete always feels like showing up and practicing for 4 hours a day? No, they don't feel like it, but they're professionals. which is why they make the pro money. Everybody with me? Because we're going to talk about how to recession-proof your business. I have coached through 2 recessions. I have coached home builders. My top home builder that I coached during the first recession is now worth $250 million. My top mortgage originator did $287 million last year. My second top mortgage originator did $150 million last year. I have been their coach for 7+ years. Everybody with me? Okay, so I asked my top mortgage originator, my guy doing $150 million, how much are you off this year? He said about 30 or 40%. I said, how much money are you going to lose? He said about $400,000. But he just keeps showing up. I said, tell me what you're doing. He said, I've taken everything you talked about and I multiplied it. Every event you've told me to do, every time I follow up, every time I talk to my clients, I'm doing 4 customer appreciation events. I'm tagging all of our past clients. I'm working harder. I'm prospecting more. I'm bringing agents over to my office and coaching them once a week. He said, everything you've told me to do during this time period, I have multiplied it, Coach. See, he can afford to take a $400,000 haircut because he's doing $1.5 million to $2 million a year because of his sheer volume. Does everybody see that? Guess who that person was? He was the men's basketball coach at the school I coached at. I convinced him to leave coaching and be a mortgage originator. And he thanks me every other week for that. Okay? Now, here's the point. When I would go speak to those real estate firms, I would speak for a minute because I want to open your mind to creativity. This is what I told Chris and Monica. What I want to do today is open your mind that there is no shortage of money. There is no shortage of leads. There is no shortage of opportunity. There is no shortage of anything. So when you hear people say recession, okay, I get it because in March of 2020, my coaching business was losing $250,000 a month. And that hurt my feelings. Why? Because I make money from going around the world and speaking. I speak, I drive leads. People I speak to hire me to be their coach. Everybody see that? In March of 2020 during COVID, there was no speaking engagements. Every speaking engagement I had was canceled. Many people wanted refunds. These were big fees. I'm sitting there losing $250,000 a month. I got a staff of 10 people that's freaking out. 4 of my people went through deep depression while they're working on my team. They're used to flying around the world, meeting cool people like you, staying in nice hotels, living a good life. Right now they're stuck in their home, separated from people, isolated. And I'm telling you, 4 of my people on my team, even with me coaching them every day, went through deep depression. I'm losing $250,000 a month. I went home one night and I told my wife, I ain't going out like this. We've worked too hard for all of our life to get to this point, and I'm not watching this thing go down. And you know what it forced me to do? It forced me to get creative. And I started going, money follows attention. Money follows energy. Money follows circulation. Money follows movement. What can I do to create? How do I get back in creation mode? See, right now I'm in catastrophe mode. Everybody with me? Right now I'm freaking out. Money never follows scared people unless you take the fear and convert it to action. Everybody with me? So I started taking my own coaching, my own medicine. I'm like, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start doing virtual events. And I started doing 8 Zooms a day, many times for free. I put out to the market, if you're out there and you're struggling, money changes hands when problems are solved. The bigger the problem, the more money people pay to solve that problem. Yes or no? The only reason a person sells a house or buys a house is because they got a problem. They don't like something. Something ain't working. Okay? So money is exchanged when you, the expert, comes in and helps them facilitates the solving of this problem. So I started going, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do free coaching for everybody. You say, that's stupid. That's marketing. It's marketing. Because I knew if I could get in front of people, I could sign up new clients. Everybody with me? So I started doing 8 Zooms a day for free. I was so exhausted when I got home, I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to look at anybody. I didn't even like people, okay? Because if you do 8 Zooms a day for an hour a day, it will flat out exhaust you. Would you agree? Oh, yeah. And I put out on social media, if you're out there and you're struggling and you can't generate leads and your people are depressed like mine are and you're losing money every single day like we are, man, I'm here to coach you for free. Some of the biggest companies in the world started taking me up on that. And after 2 or 3 sessions, I convinced them to pay me to be their coach right in the middle of the recession while they were losing money. Everybody see that? See, the fear created creativity in me. See, over the last 2 years, the real estate market has been what I would call a false positive. False positive is where it inflates so much, you begin to buy your own hype. You begin to believe you're that good. All my mortgage originals, man, I'm having the best year of my life. And I'm like, I know, my 10-year-old daughter could have the best year of her life right now. Rates at 2.3%, refinance is coming through like crazy. Come on, man. You can't, no matter how good you are or no matter how good you get, you never buy your own hype. Everybody with me? And so what happened is a reality is set in. And what competition really does is it weeds out the people who are not serious. It's a good thing, right? It weeds out people who are not pros. And it separates out the pretenders from the contenders. So at 25 years old, I started getting all these phone calls. I was not doing any prospecting, no marketing, no nothing. I started getting all these incoming phone calls. And they said, hey, we know you're a coach. We know you win a lot of games. We got people who got a lot of potential, but they're not operating. Will you come over and speak to our people? And I said, I'm not interested because I'm coaching kids. Thank you. They said, well, buy your book. I said, thank you. Totally wasn't interested in it because I was coaching kids. And I went and spoke for 1 hour at Dell Computers in Nashville. And I got finished and I said, thanks, man. I'm out. Good to see y'all. Got to go back to the kids because I love these kids, right? And they said, we want you to come back and coach our people. I said, I'm totally not interested. I do not want to coach adults. What I found out is adults are just big kids. Would you agree?
Amen.
Actually, adults need more structure than kids do sometimes. Would you agree?
Oh, yes.
Best part about being in real estate is you can do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. Worst part about being in real estate, you can do what you want, when you want, with whom you want. Yes or no?
Yes.
You can go days without prospecting. You can go days without following up. You can go days. Here's the deal. You are a business owner. You are running a small business. That business needs money, needs capital, needs action. It's hungry. And when you go days and days and days without prospecting, it cannot survive because there's not enough margin there. Everybody see that? There's not enough margin. So if you own a retail shop and I was coaching you, I'd say, man, who's prospecting? Who's calling people? Who's getting people in the shop? Who's selling something? Okay? And you can't do that if you take 3 or 4 days off here and 3 or 4 days off here because your business doesn't have enough margin to do that, especially if you're a solopreneur, which means it's just you. There is no genie back there doing something. There is no little person running around selling something for you. It's you, right? So 25, I speak at Dell Computers. They asked me to come back. I'm like, I'm out. Thank you. Me and this dude got in an argument. And he's like, you don't want to come back? It's Dell Computers. I was like, no, sir. I'm not interested in coaching adults. Will you come back? No, sir. I'm like, dude, thank you for buying my book. I'm going back to the kids because I love kids. I love coaching kids. And he finally got frustrated with me. He reached in his pocket and he handed me a check. And I opened that check up and it was more in an hour than I made in a month. You know what I said then? Surely somebody else will love them kids as much as I do. Like, I like them kids, but somebody else will love them too, right? Now, what did I figure out right there? I figured out that there was somebody willing to pay me more in an hour than I made in a month. And it opened my mind to possibility. And I went home that night and I started studying successful coaches that speak around the world. And guess who popped up back in those days? This is 20 years ago. Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz was the head coach at Notre Dame. And guess what Lou Holtz did on the side? He'd go around the world and talk and speak about winning. He was writing books and he was talking. And I looked down in the corner. It said speaking fee. Guess what it said? 20 years ago, $100,000. Just a few more dollars than Chris and Monica are paying me to be here today. But not much. But not much. You with me? Now, here's the deal. So I go, what did I say? A little light bulb went off in my mind, and I said, I can do this. I can do this. See, if you're sitting here today, when I said 35 to 300, some of you in your mind, as soon as I said it, said, I can't do it. I'm telling you, if I brought that dude in here today and showed you where he was 8 years ago and showed you where he is today. See, some of you, as soon as I said 300 deals, you're like, I can't do that. I can't even get to 20 deals. I can't get to 50 deals. I can't, like your mind, right? When you study psychology, there's what's called open mindsets and fixed mindsets. And a fixed mindset is a person who discounts something as soon as it's said. Everybody with me? It's like, I ain't doing that. Oh, that dude must be lucky. He must have something I don't have. No. That dude was living at home with his mama at 35. That was that dude. What did he do? He got himself together. He started taking himself seriously. He changed his identity. I said, you're no longer, that's what I said to you. You're no longer good time Tommy. You are big time Tommy. I don't want to hear you be the office clown anymore because you got a lot of potential. You are now big time Tommy. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Yes, sir. Okay. Got his wardrobe together. Got his life together. Married a beautiful wife. Somebody picked up a good-looking woman in this whole deal. It's amazing what $100,000 a month will do for you. He's got a beautiful house. Drives a nice car. And this was a dude that was a complete joke as a real estate agent. Everybody hear what I'm telling you? Okay? So 25 years old, my mind was open. I can do this. Okay? So fast forward 6 years, we win a championship. I did not retire then. I stayed 6 more years to do the one thing I said I would set out to, which is win a championship. And then I retired. Guess when I retired? Spring of '08. How many of you were selling real estate in the spring of '08? How many of you remember what a great time it was? I retired and started my business in the middle of a recession. And I was either really smart or really dumb. I think I was real smart. Okay? So I go out and start speaking for free. I didn't have a sales system we're going to talk about today. I didn't have a follow-up plan. I didn't have an explanation of value. I had no marketing. I literally quit being a high school basketball coach and said, I'm starting a coaching company in the middle of the recession. And I started asking myself, how do I go out and get clients? Is that a question you ask yourself? How do I generate more leads? And I said, what is my best strategy? I want you thinking right now, what is your best strategy to get clients? If I pinned you down and I said, ma'am, I want you to tell me your number one strategy that generates leads. What would that be? Not your number 2 or 3 or 4, number 1. What's the best thing you do that generates the most leads for you? Now, can't be lazy on this, because here's what real estate referrals. Oh, I get referrals. I'm like, well, how many referrals are you getting right now? I go, well, that's a good question. Who sends you the most referrals? How much time do you spend with them? See, let me give you some stats in real estate, because I'm an old coach. Average person is going to buy 4 to 7 homes in their lifetime. How many of you already bought 4 homes? How many of you have gone up in value on those homes? Means you bought more expensive homes many times. All right? So the average person is going to buy 4 to 7 houses in their lifetime. How many of those would you like to get if you were a real estate agent?
All of them.
That's what every agent in America tells me. Boy, I'd like to get all of them. I mean, if you did a good job, shouldn't you get all of them? This is a National Association of Realtors stat. And in Tennessee, we say realtors, 3 syllables, not 2. Okay? So Texas is pretty much the same, right? I mean, we all talk the same. Now, here's the deal. The National Association of Realtors says that each satisfied client should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer. That means if you represented me on my house or one of my first transactions, and you do a good job with me over my lifetime, it could be possible that I would send you 6 referrals. Wouldn't that be nice to get that out of those people? I say, how many of you would like to get the 4 to 7 houses that people are going to buy? And they say, I would. I say, how many of you would like to get the 6 referrals that person would buy? And they say, I would. And I said, well, let me give you the worst stat that the National Association puts out there. It says that 98% of real estate agents will never call a client back once they put them in a home. That one hurt, didn't it? See, when Chris said, I want you to talk about recession-proofing your business, here's the first thing I said. You don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. See, during the recession, when I went out and started talking for free, guess who hired me? The largest home builder in the state of Tennessee. Independently home builder. He was selling 800 homes a year, sometimes 40 homes a week. And he saw me speak at a morning Rotary Club. You know what the Rotary Clubs are, folks? Where they serve the bad chicken? Bad chicken circuit. Right? So I go speak for free, get the bad chicken at the Rotary Club, and just coach my little heart out. And this dude walks up to me and he said, you need to come see me tomorrow, sir. I didn't even know who he was. I said, okay. I said, who are you? Man, I'm #1 home builder in Tennessee. You come see me tomorrow. I get to his office. He said, I don't know what you got, but we need some of it. We're depressed. We don't know how to sell a home. We were selling 40 houses a week. Okay? Now we're selling 4. He said, I'm freaking out. My wife's freaking out. My employees are freaking out. Everybody's freaking out, and we don't know what we need to do. Right? Can you coach us? And he said, how much is it going to cost me? I had no idea. I just started my coaching company. I didn't know what to say. So what came out of my mouth was $125,000. You know what he said? Let's round it to 120 and get started tomorrow. And I'm like, well, dang, I should ask for $225,000. Everybody with me? It was 1 year of pure hell trying to coach those agents. Those agents were making $300,000 a year sitting in model homes with all kinds of traffic coming in, buying houses like crazy. Okay? They got so tired, so lazy, so complacent that I went and mystery shopped them before I started. You know what they were doing? Watching the Fishing Channel. Watching ESPN. I walked in the house and said, I'm here looking at a house. You know what one agent said to me? Hey, just walk around. If you need anything, let me know. I took a picture of him watching the Fishing Channel. And I went back to the guy who hired me and I said, this is what your agents are doing in these model homes. I said, remind me again how much money you're spending on marketing? It was hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I said, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to drive people into a house that want to buy a house, and the agent is sitting behind a desk watching ESPN and the Fishing Channel. That house ain't going to sell itself today. You need to sell that house. Now, let me remind you something. In recession times, guys, you know what you need to be doing? Get back to the old-fashioned selling. This is the best house I can show you in League City. Let me tell you why this is the best house. I've looked at all the houses out here. This is the best price point. I get that the rates are high. I get that you're scared to death right now. But I'm telling you, I saw how you looked at this when you looked at it. I saw how your wife looked at it. Okay, if you got to sleep on it another night, you may not be able to sleep in it. So let's get this puppy going. Everybody with me?
Yes, sir.
See, this is what's missing with agents today. You've gotten away from selling. You got to sell me the house. You got to sell me a dream. You got to sell me a vision. I can't tell you how many houses I've looked at where the agent put me in control, the buyer. Do you like this? No, I don't like it. Do you like this? No, don't like it. I'm just testing them. I looked at one a few weeks ago, $2.5 million in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The agent walked me through. You like this? Okay. And finally, I stopped him, young kid, 21 years old. I said, is it okay if I give you a free coaching session? He said, yes, sir. He was so nice, so friendly. Scared to death of me, by the way. Watch my videos on YouTube. He's scared to death of me. He said, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared. I'm like, take a deep breath and sell me this house. Sell it to me. Coach, I know you love doing retreats. This is a perfect retreat house. It's up in the mountains. There's no restriction on Airbnb. I think you could probably pick up about $250,000 in passive income here if you add your retreats, right? And you make this much, Coach, I think you can make $350,000 with this house. Now, there's a few things that need to be adjusted on this house. I think I can negotiate that in the deal for you, right? I understand your wife doesn't like this, she doesn't like this. I get it, but there's no other properties on this mountain that are for sale at this price point. Now, I think it's a little overpriced. I'm going to work for you on that. I'm going to go to fight for you on that, right? I'm like, sell it to me. He didn't do any of that. We looked at $2.5 million properties that I didn't buy. Ask me how many times he's called me back. 0. I took a full day off on a Sunday with me and my wife to go look at $2.5 million properties, and the agent has never called me back one time. I get a drip campaign. I get new properties that are listed in the market. See, people tell me I'm looking for money. Like I went on the Uber ride over here, I left my bag at a Starbucks in downtown Houston this morning because I've got my daughter with me. We're running all over the place trying to get her in there, and I got bags, and my bag has everything in it. Has my laptop, has my Mac, has all my stuff in it. And I told this Uber driver said, Coach, I'll go get it for you. I said, would you do that for me? He said, yes, sir. I'd be happy to. Didn't ask me how much it would pay. So we drove all the way back to downtown Houston, got my bag at a Starbucks, drove it back to him, and I gave him a really big tip, and he sent me a message, said, you made my whole day, man. I said, no, sir. You made my day. Right? You helped me to believe in humanity again. Wasn't that nice of him? He said, man, you didn't have to reward me like that. Yes, I did. Yes, I did, because you did something you didn't have to do. See, this is what's missing in real estate today, is when you're telling me you're looking for deals, how hard are you looking for deals? How many people are you talking to a day? How many people are you going back to? If you went back and looked at all the past clients that you've sold a house to, how many times have you talked to those people? How many times have you engaged with those people? Because they could buy another house. They may have to sell a house. They know people. You don't need more money. You need more people. The people have the money. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now, when I was coaching the #1 real estate agent in South Carolina, here's what he used to say to me. He was doing, 150 deals a year, something like that, in a town of 7,000, which is domination, right? A little bitty town, right, in his market. And he used to say to me, in the back of every person's mind is a little piece of real estate. And in that piece of real estate, they only have room for 1 or 2 real estate agents. They don't have room for 5. They only have room for 1 or 2 mortgage originators. They don't have room for 5. They only have room for 1 or 2 insurance agents. They don't have room for 5. He said, my whole strategy is to own that piece of real estate in as many people's minds as I can in this market. So he was constantly doing events, constantly speaking at the Rotary Club, Civic, anywhere they would have him speak. He would get up in front of people as the local market expert. Everybody see that? Okay? He understood the concept, you don't need more money, you need more people. So when you look at the stats, here's some stats, because, and I don't tell you these to beat you up, although God called me to be your coach and not your friend.
Exactly.
Okay? And to be your coach, I got to say some hard things to you sometimes. And here's what I see in a lot of, man, you ain't working the numbers. See, here's a stat right here. It takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert a prospect to a client. 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time. Now, we could do a test today. If I showed interest in a property in League City. You got a nice property here, Monica, you could sell me? Okay, now let's pretend it's not you. But let's say that I showed interest in a property here. How many times do you think the real estate agent would actually follow up with me? By a show of hands, how many times do you think they'd follow up with me if I showed interest in a property? This is the audience participation part. Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? Come on, folks. Are the folks in League City a little slow or what? Okay? Y'all tell me these are the smart agents. All right, now, 1 to 2 times. This is the national, okay? If I was in New York City tomorrow, they would tell me 1 or 2 times, okay? Every statistic in the world tells me that to take a person who is interested in buying a property to a person that's actually buying a property, it takes 7 to 15 touches. Does everybody see that? So the old coach in me is like, you ain't even in the game on 1 touch. You ain't even in the game at 3 touches. How bad do you, if you come to me and say, look, I'm trying to find more deals, it's a recession, I can't sell any houses. No, that is not true, because you are not doing everything you could to sell a house. You are not doing everything you could to get a listing. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay? Now, I looked back the other day in my database, 5 years. And I wanted to see how many people had paid me to be their coach the last 5 years. They bought a book from me. They engaged with me. You know what the number was, Chris? 25,000. Over the last 5 years, 25,000 have pulled out their credit card and exchanged it with me. So if I came to you, sir, because you look good and you're just strong, and I said, look, man, I'm going broke here. I can't find any deals. It's a freaking recession. Rates are high, can't do anything. And would you tell me that you got a database of at least 25,000 people? Would you tell me that? Would you tell me to work that database? Yeah. See, he would tell me, you ain't working your database. You ain't going back to those 25,000 people. You don't have a shortage of money. You have a shortage of action. Yes or no? If he said to me, how many people have shown interest in your coaching services in the last? Okay, I did an event last week, had 900 people on it. 900 people. I had to go through 900, so I did something for free to generate leads. Generated 900 leads. One event. From the 900, I made an offer for them to buy something for me at $97. From the 900, 400 bought something at $97. From the 400, then I did 2 days of coaching for $97. And why would I do that? Why would I do 2 days of coaching for $97? Yeah, what did I do? I generated leads. That's just a way to generate leads. So I'm going to give you something at a very low cost of free just to generate leads. Here's where the story gets good. So I coached these people for 2 days on how to go from 6 figures to 7 figures. That was the concept. $1 million expert. 2 days of coaching, $97. Then I made an offer. I didn't pitch. I made an offer. I invited them to go deeper with me. From that, I think right now we're at about, I'd say 15% close ratio. So from the 400 that I got on the thing, only 250 showed up. From the 250, at 12%, let's just say, 24 took action. Guess how much we generated in revenue? Over $500,000 in 2 days. And I did that at $97 because I offered them the chance to go deeper and they took it. Everybody see that? What's the big lesson there? How many people did I have to go through to get 24 people?
400.
Well, really, 900 to get 400, to get 250 to show up, to get 24 stone cold killers. Everybody with me? And I like the Navy SEALs, not the baby seals. Right? Now, so here's my point. When I tell people that, I'm like, if I was a real estate agent, look at how many people we have to go through to get a deal together. So I asked people, how many people did you talk to yesterday? And I said, well, 4. I'm like, 4? You talked to 4 people? How many you talked to today? Nobody. How many people have you prospected today? How many people have you followed up with today that have indicated interest in buying or selling a house? If I go online and I give you my name, email, and phone number, am I interested in buying a house? Yes or no? What more do you want me to give you? My third born child?
Right.
If I go to a car lot today in League City and say I'm interested in buying a car, is it an indicator I'm going to buy a car? Yes or no? If I find out if I'm pre-qualified for a mortgage, am I interested in a mortgage? Yes. Okay, what more do you want me to do for you to call me? What more for the guy in Chattanooga do I need to do to tell him I'm interested in buying a house in Chattanooga? I went down there and spent a whole day looking at houses. So either he's not getting proper mentorship from somebody, or he's never been coached. But what's the commission on $2.5 million? Is it big enough to call somebody back for the love of God? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay then. God, get my blood pressure up. Now, so when I say you don't need more money, you need more people, how many of you have already found, how many of you, let's be honest, because all progress starts by telling the truth. My pastor at church on Sunday, who I coached, talked about money. The Bible talks about money 723 times. Although when you talk about money, people get all freaked out, especially at church, which is why they took the offering up front before he talked about the money. And he said it first thing. He said, look, y'all ain't got nothing to worry about. We've already taken the offering, but I'm going to talk about greed today. And at the end, he said something that got my attention. He said, I know this is uncomfortable to talk about, but God didn't call me to be your friend. He called me to be your pastor. And I wrote down, God didn't call me to be your friend. He called me to be your coach. And people hire me for one reason. They want to make more money. They want to get better. They want to reach their potential. So how many of you in the first 30, 40 minutes have already found areas of your business that you actually could pick up 5 deals right now? Raise your hand. Okay. So, Chris, how long did that take us? Okay. So the offering plate will be passed around very shortly. Because I don't pass the offering plate to the end, folks. Now, here's the deal. I'm an outsider. Okay? I don't sell real estate, although I have bought probably $25 to $30 million worth of real estate. I just did a $7 million deal in downtown Nashville where I bought a commercial place in downtown. We own retreat sites around the country where we do coaching, couples retreats, all kinds of cool things at. I love real estate. I love it. I think it makes people happy. I think when I come home at night, it's like an oasis. You follow me? Yeah. I think what you're selling is so valuable. And I think you are so valuable. But you first have to see yourself as a pro. You are not an amateur. You are a pro. And the pros do not make amateur mistakes. Everybody with me? Okay? The pros don't make amateur mistakes. Meaning, if I were coaching you and I said, look, we're going to get you 5 to 15 more deals. Do the commission on 5 to 15, how much you'd make, if I can just get you to follow up better. Everybody see that? If I could just get you to go 7 touches. If I could just get you to engage with your past clients better. I'm going to help you pick up 5 to 15 more deals. Everybody with me? You put those two together, I got 30 more deals. What's the commission on 30 deals? Okay? Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because when you tell me how do we recession-proof a business, number one way is we don't participate in a recession. I don't watch the news. I watched it for 30 minutes the other night, CNN. I thought I was going to get 5 guns and almost, protect myself. I told my wife, I said, I ain't going out of the house. It's so dangerous out there. You know what I'm saying? Because you watch 5 minutes of CNN, and I'm telling you, the whole world's coming to an end. Crisis News Network. Now, here's my point. My point to you is this. When you start thinking about how to recession-proof a business, here's a couple things I want to just show you. Number one, we're going to get back to the basics. So number one, are you prospecting a minimum of 2 hours a day for new money? Are you prospecting 2 hours a day for new money? Okay, and I like to do 35 to 45 high-value activities every day. Now, let me tell you the beauty of this. I have got this down. I can do this in less than an hour. What is a high-value activity? A high-value activity is any activity that you take, any action that you take that could lead to new money. Everybody see that? So on my Uber ride over here in the Tesla with the man that restored my belief in humanity, my daughter took a little nap. I said, see, you ain't tough enough yet. I said, let me tell you what Daddy's going to do. Prospect. So for an hour, text messaging, videoing, voice texting. Everybody see that? People who had indicated interest in buying or selling my services, or buying my services, guess what I was doing on the way over here? An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted on by an outside force. You must be that force. Everybody see that? See, that agent in Chattanooga should be following up with me until we have a buying decision. Okay? If I didn't like the first two, he should have sent me two more. He should be in my face every week until I tell him to leave me alone. Everybody with me? Because I've already indicated interest in buying a house. Yes? I've already said I'll buy retreat sites in cool places. Chattanooga, waters, mountains. Okay? I've already told him this is what I want to do. But every day he doesn't follow up with me, guess what? Time kills all deals. The further I get away from him, the less likely I am to buy a house in Chattanooga. Everybody see that? Because guess what? Another real estate deal comes along. So somebody has not coached him in high-value activity. Now, in the follow-up, I wrote a book on this called $1 Million Follow-Up. Okay, it's right out there if you guys want to buy it. It's $10. We don't make a fortune off the books. I just want to get them in people's hands. Okay, my daughter's trying to negotiate a 20% commission on those, thanks to Chris. She come to me and said, how much commission I get, Dad? I'm like, girl, you already sucking me dry of everything I got. Now, here's the deal. When you follow up, there are two types of follow-ups. There is what's called a linear follow-up, which is direct, and a nonlinear follow-up, which is indirect. So let me show you what this should have looked like. Let's take the kid in Chattanooga. Chris is looking at the property. Chris, I noticed we didn't get you what you wanted on Sunday, but I listened to everything that you said. You told me you wanted a property that we could Airbnb, cash flow this much money per year, do great retreats at, okay? I understand you didn't like the ones I got you, but I've gone on the hunt like a dog on a bone. And I will not sleep at night, Chris, until I find what you're looking for. So with your permission, Chris, I'd like to continue to follow up with you like a professional and send you more deals to look at. Now, I'm going to take it upon myself to take the initiative to break these properties down, show exactly how much you can make an Airbnb. Matter of fact, I've already called the #1 Airbnb expert in Chattanooga and got them on board with me so they could do some cash flow analysis because you may want somebody to manage this property for you, right? And I've already done this, and this. Okay? With your permission, I'm going to follow up with you like a pro. Sound good, Chris? Chris is going to say, absolutely. You know what Chris is going to say? Who is this person from another planet? Because they're not any real estate agent I know. Yes or no? Pretty soon, you know what I'm going to start doing? I'm going to start talking about this kid. I'm going to start going, man, there's this kid in Chattanooga, sells real estate for this real estate company. Unbelievable. If you ever need real estate in Chattanooga, call this kid. Let me tell you how much initiative he took. See, that's touch number 1. Touch number 2 is, hey, I'm sending properties. I'm going to text message you over the next 2 days, see if you like those properties. Sound good? Okay, touch 2. That's indirect. Touch number 3. Coach, I know we're just getting to know each other. Man, I'm going to send you 3 testimonials of people that I've been working with that have said they really love me representing them. They're all video testimonies, so just when you got time, click and watch them. Now I've sent him 3 follow-ups. Everybody see that? Follow-up number 4 gets more direct. So think about it like boxing. Jab, 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 hook. I don't just go at him like a stone cold killer and scare him to death. Like, hey, you ready to buy the property? Let's go. Because that alerts his croc brain, which is the front part of the brain that's scared of everything. What I do is I sap. Boom, 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 boom. Every 4th touch is direct. Chris, man, I brought you exactly what you want on a silver platter, man. I got you 3 properties well within the price range. I'll show you the numbers and cash flow analysis. Chris, are you ready to make a decision? The word decide means to kill something off. See, the purpose of my phone call today, Chris, is, man, it's game time, baby. These properties are hot. They're priced appropriately in this market, right? Let's not get caught up. Oh, man, the rate, let's not get caught up in that. Let's get caught up in how much money you can make with these properties. Everybody see that? See, routinely I tell people you're focused on the wrong numbers. You get caught up on the rate. You get caught up on inflation. You get caught up on the news. You can caught up on whatever you want to. What you told me is to bring you the best properties in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and I have done that. And I brought them to you on a silver platter. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, Coach, or Chris, how serious are you about moving forward on this? Because when you came down to Chattanooga, you was at a 10. Did I misunderstand? Because I've been working like a dog on a bone, brought it to you on a silver platter. Chris may say, man, things have changed. I've got something going on right. I totally understand, okay? I'm going to keep working for you, Chris, to make sure we have it. I'm going to keep feeding you properties and keep following up with you. Now, is that okay with you? Chris is going to say, absolutely. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep following up until what? Chris, while I got you on the phone, I know we're getting to know each other a little bit better. Everybody hear what I'm about to say? Chris, I know since I got you on the phone, is this working good for you? Chris is going to say what? What would you say if I was doing those things?
I'd say yeah.
Okay. Chris, let me ask you a question. Need your help with something. I'm trying to grow my business in Chattanooga. I'm a new agent. I believe like gravitate toward like. I believe association breeds assimilation. Man, I love working with you so much. I would love to work with any of your friends. Now, Chris, who else do I need to know in Chattanooga that you would introduce me to? Not to do a real estate deal with. I think the creepiest question in the world is, do you know anybody buying or selling real estate right now? I don't know who came up with that, but they should be shot in the leg. Okay? Don't mark that out on the camera because somebody will turn that into something crazy. Just don't put it on YouTube because somebody will mix it up and say, Coach Burt says we should shoot people in the leg. And somebody will do it. Some bozo will do it, okay? Now, here's the point. If I work with you and it's a good experience, would it not be appropriate for me to say to you, hey, is this going good for you? If I've helped you get to a better place in your life and been a professional, I believe you don't need more money, you need more people, man. And I need help building my real estate business. Would you help introduce me to new people? Chris may say, I got 4 people you need to know right now. I'm not trying to sell them anything. All I want to do is connect with them. See, this is where we get all screwed up. The word transaction means to discard. But that's the word we use in real estate. You know what that means? I used you. Now I don't need you anymore. Transformation says, I used you, and it was so incredible. I want to keep coming back to you over and over and over again. And it was so good, I want to tell other people. That's where referrals are. Referrals when great people tell other great people how great you were. With me? How many of you have not stayed in a flow with your past clients? Flow and frequency with those people. Raise your hand. It's okay. It ain't easy. I got like 2,000 or 3,000 clients. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. I'm here to tell you, it ain't easy. So what I do is I try to pick 2 or 3 a day, what I call my top 25, to engage with, just to stay in a flow. That'd be part of your, see you look at that as a non-selling activity. I look at it as a selling activity. You call in your past, so let's go back to my real estate agent in South Carolina, that coach. He had a real simple philosophy. 2 days after, the day of the close, he celebrated with the client. 2 days after, he called him. Just want to make sure everything's going good. You in the house? Do you need anything? Can I help you? 2 weeks after, he called him. Just making sure you're getting settled in. I'm here for you. Man, if you need anything, I'm right? Let me give you a few tactics and strategies. 2 months after, he called him. He used to go in his office every morning from 9 to 11. And he said, Coach, we can coach anytime you want other than 9 to 11 because from 9 to 11, I'm doing nothing but prospecting. Every day. He'd go in his office, shut the door, put his headphones on for 2 straight hours every day. He showed up at 8 a.m. every day. Looked like somebody, acted like somebody, 2 hours a day. Coach, I'm prospecting. Who you calling? Current clients? Past clients? Strategic partners? Any lead that I have? Everybody see that? 2 hours a day, Coach. I said, tell me, bullet down. Here's what he said. I prospect in the morning. I solve the world's problems in the afternoon. Easy philosophy. Yes or no? Prospect for 2 hours. Get in his truck. Always ate with somebody. He never ate alone. There's a book called Never Eat Alone. He never ate alone. Although I kind of like when I eat alone without people. Don't you? But because sometimes I just don't like people. And because I talk to thousands of people a week. It's like I just need a minute to myself. Okay? But he never ate alone. Then he would come back in the afternoon and get out and ride around and look at real estate and talk to people on the phone. That was his whole deal. He was doing roughly 100, by the time we were done, 175 transactions a year in a town of 7,000. Everybody see that? So, number 1, to recession-proof a business, we first got to understand, we got to get back to the fundamentals. Everybody with me? I live in Nashville, so I get to see a lot of country music artists, and if you ever come to Nashville, please come to Nashville and enjoy Nashville because it's an incredible city. But here's what I do. Here's what I see. These big tours, like Florida Georgia Line, just split up, and they went their own separate way. Guess where they're back playing at now? In little bars. So Tyler Hubbard's out there on the circuit playing for small audiences. What's the other guy's name? The real cool one? He's playing for small audiences. You know what they do? They go back to the basics. They go back to just getting on a stage and playing for people. Because together they're big, but individually they're starting all over. And so here's the basics to me are, number one, prospecting 2 hours a day. No matter what. Number two, doing 35 to 45 high-value activities every day. And a high-value activity is any activity you participate in that will generate new money. Calling a past client to generate a referral or even just touch a past client is a high-value activity. Everybody see that? Following up 7 times on somebody who's indicated an interest is a high-value activity. Okay? Calling a strategic partner to do something like this is a high-value activity. Everybody see that? See, a lot of people don't think strategic partnerships are high-value. Absolutely. Because you don't need more money, you need more people. Through partnership here, and you guys opening up this office here, and you guys, I met new friends today. I don't know any of you people. But I do now. Why? Because of 2 people. Does everybody see that? See, these are little mini habits. You a James Clear fan? Atomic Habits? Yeah. James Clear just talks about, he wrote Atomic Habits. An atom is a very tiny thing. Like when you think about it, it's like, boom, atomic. No, what he's saying is small habits over a long cycle of time become ingrained in you. One of the examples he uses in that book is that a gentleman woke up every morning that was out of shape and he drove to the gym. But he only stayed for 5 minutes. Now when I say that, people go, 5 minutes. How many people didn't get up and go to the gym this morning? See, by him getting up and getting dressed and going to the gym, he is building a habit. Yes or no? Yes. See, he can't do 10 minutes until he starts doing 5 minutes. Everybody see that? See, so a habit is I prospect every day. I do 35 to 45 high-value activities no matter what. Okay, here's the excuse. Man, I'm in Texas. I got my daughter with me. I don't have any time to do this. No. That's an excuse. Yes or no? Here's what I told my daughter. We're working. Tonight, we'll go do whatever you want. I took her to the Palm, $200, by the way. She's like, this is such a good steak, Dad. You know what I said? You remember this, because when you do good, you eat like this. You with me? You don't sell them books tomorrow eating at McDonald's. Now, here's the point. 35 to 40. How many of y'all think you can do 35 to 45? How many people are doing 35 to 45 high-value activities right now? How many think you can start this little habit tomorrow? How many of you are committed? You ain't committed to me, by the way. You're committed to you. You're committed to you. You ain't committed to me. I've already made a commitment and decision. I've already killed off my amateur desires. I'm ready to make the pro money, baby. The pro money, okay? So number one, 35 to 45 minutes. Number two, how many of you will go 7 to 15 touches in the follow-up? How many of you will commit to that? Now, who has any pushback on that? Anybody got any pushback? Anybody think that's too aggressive? Okay, let me tell you why. People struggle to make a decision. And what you're really doing is you're becoming world class at helping them make a decision. At Christmas last year, I splurged and I bought myself a G-Wagon. I came from a poor family, single mom. We never had anything. Lived in a house with a living room and bedroom, right? So I go to Christmas and I go to the Mercedes dealership, and these G-Wagons are at an all-time high, ridiculous price. This is in December. Everybody with me? So I had to pull a white one in there and a black one in. I just sat there and look at it for an hour. I'm trying to justify it, calling my accountant, talking to my wife, and my wife's like, man, you work like crazy. Buy it for yourself. Freaking buy a G-Wagon. Everybody with me? I took it back to my hometown. They didn't know what it was. My stepdad said, what is that? Right? He didn't even know what a G-Wagon was, but it's a very expensive Mercedes car, right? And so I go there, and I see this Mercedes guy walking through the place, and I'm like, man, let me ask you a question. Are you really good at selling these? And he said, no, not at all. I said, what? He said, they sell themselves. He said, what I'm really good at is helping people feel good about spending that much money on a car. Everybody hear that? He said, when you get in one, you're going to buy it. It don't matter what it costs. Because they have a lot of country music artists that come over. Like last week, the guy from Old Dominion was over there buying one, and then Lady Antebellum's over there buying one. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we're in Nashville. These country music artists are going to buy one. They sell themselves. What I do is I make them feel real good about buying it. And I said, that is a talent. Hear what I'm about to tell you. All of us in this room, including me, struggle to make decisions. A good real estate agent is a master at helping people make a decision. Everybody see that? I'm scared to death. What if it's a bad economy right now? I don't need to buy anything right now. I love this house, but I don't need to buy it. Right? My real estate agent put his house on the market for 8 days, hated it so much he took it off the market. He said, man, people in my house all the time. I hated it. My wife hated it. I'm like, well, you're a real estate agent, right? You get it. He said, man, there's just so much friction, I just gave up. He priced it at $1.2 million. He couldn't get any traction on it. Instead of lowering the price and getting it, he has a desire. I'm like, you have a desire to move to another, build a house, right? He said, yeah. I said, just. I'm like, man, you need somebody coaching you through this, not you, because you're too emotional about it. A good real estate agent helps regulate emotions. I get you got memories here. I get you raised a family here. I get that. But where I'm moving you to is 100 times better than this place right here. You can't see it right now because you're too attached to it. My role in your life is to help you make decisions, not just to help you buy and sell real estate. Everybody get where I'm going with this? You're so much more than just a realtor. So quit seeing yourself as, I help people buy and sell houses. No. I help people make important decisions. How many of you, when you go home at night, your house makes you happy? Be honest. Absolutely. I have a house in Tennessee that I love. I love it. My wife just remodeled all the things. Here's the deal. When I bought it, it was a spec house. It was not custom house. It was 80% of what I wanted. And I walked there and I don't like that. But I love it because it's private gated community, backs up to a creek. I'm like, it's 80% of what I wanted, but I'm 100% happy when I go home at night. So when a person says to me, when they're looking at a house, man, it's just not 100% of what I want. You know what I would tell them personally? I say, I get it, man. I bought a house that was 80% of what I wanted. But I'm 100% happy when I go home every night. Everybody see that? Yeah. See, people get caught up on such small things, like I don't like this. Yeah, man, but you love 97% of this house. And I got it to you at the best price point I can get, in the best subdivision I can get, the best school that I could get it for you. I'm fighting for you, man, but we got to help you make a decision here. The word decision means to cut away. The word decide means to kill something off. So are we in a recession? No. Is there people making money right now? Yes or no?
Oh, yes.
Okay. There's going to be people make so much money right now you haven't seen. What does Warren Buffett say? Where there's fear, there's always opportunity.
Oh, yes.
There is always opportunity where there's fear. Okay? So number one, I got to get back to the basics. I got to prospect 2 hours a day, 35 to 45 high-value activities. Number two, what I got to do? Follow up 7 to 15 touches. Yes or no? Yes. Number three, I got to go back to my past clients, and I got to engage with my past clients better. Now, here's what I get when I tell people this. What do I say to them? Because I haven't talked to them in 7 years. All progress starts by telling the truth. Man, I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you something. I'm sorry I haven't called you. I want to be the first one to ask for forgiveness. Okay? I should have been calling you. I should have been following up with you. And I've done a poor job of that. Right? I came and got coached by this little bald-headed pit bull. He opened my eyes. Right? I am repenting away from my sins. And I am moving in the right direction. But man, I really want to be engaged with you. So with your permission, I don't. And if you've used another real estate agent, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even blame you. Just call it what it is. Be vulnerable. Everybody with me? But if you haven't, I'd like the right to earn back your trust to be your agent. Everybody see that? 67% of people use the very first real estate agent that contacts them. Several years ago, there was a company named SmartZip. Anybody remember SmartZip? Yeah. SmartZip was a company that was backed by Silicon Valley money. They brought me in to help them redefine their sales structure. And they built their whole company on one stat. 67% of people use the very first agent that contacts them. They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one. They don't use the best looking one. They use which one?
The first one.
So the whole company was built on if you could know which houses in any subdivision that were going to go on the market first, or were most likely go on the market, as an agent, you could market to those houses to pick up the listing. Everybody see that? So I came in and I looked at everything they were doing and I said, look, here's what I'd say. I believe if we could have a crystal ball, we would use it. And if we knew 67% of people used the very first agent and we knew which houses were most likely to go on the market, that it would be to a real estate agent's advantage to market to those people. Everybody with me? It's completely redefine how they explain their value. That's what I did for them, okay? Now, when I heard that stat, 67% of people use the very first agent that contacts them. You know what my little basketball mind went to? I should be contacting people like crazy. I should be the person that's contacting people like crazy. Yes or no?
Yes.
I've had 2 instances in my life. I had a condo in Florida that I was thinking about selling because we were going to buy a house over in Watercolor, Florida. But I wasn't sure, and I didn't know an agent down there, and I started getting messages from an agent down there. He was at Pineapple Real Estate Agency. What was that?
Pineapple.
And I kept getting these text messages. Hey, this is so-and-so at Pineapple Real Estate Agency. We specialize in selling condos like yours. And for a year, I didn't even respond to him. I'm like, this is ridiculous. Everybody with me? For a year. Monica, one day I went in and I told my wife, I said, we're selling that condo. Tired of talking about it. Tired of thinking about it. We're selling it. Guess who I called? Pineapple Real Estate Agency. I said, sir, you've been calling me, and I'm an old basketball coach, and I always reward people who put effort in. Just kind of a standard MO for me. I always reward, like I did the Uber driver today, I always reward people who go the extra mile. And sir, you have been calling me for 1 year with text messages and emails. I don't know who you are. I need some proof of concept that you're not a lunatic. I said, but if you could get me, I don't know, it's $400,000 for my condo, I'll put it on the market with you. He said, I'll have that done in 2 weeks. I'll get you the 400. We're selling these things like crazy. I said, give me some references of people I can call that you've represented. Sure enough, he gave them. They said positive things. I put it on the market. He sold it for 400 in less than 2 weeks. What did he just create for himself? A sale.
Yeah, so.
Had a cabin in the mountains of Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We decided we wanted to sell it because it's 4 hours up there and 4 hours back, right? I love being up there. Hated the drive from my house because it's 4 hours. Kept getting an email and a phone call from a real estate agent up there. Hey, we're selling these things like crazy. Coach, I think I can get you this amount for that cabin. 6 months I didn't even. Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. One day I walked in, I said, we're selling that cabin. My wife's like, thank God. I called that dude and I said, I like rewarding people who take action, and you've been the only real estate agent in the whole area that's been calling me. He sold it in less than a week. Everybody see that? Okay? We don't need more money. We need more what?
People.
There's not a person in this room, including me, that's doing everything we could to tap into every relationship we have. And I'm as guilty as you are. As much as I work and do, right? So I'm going to tell you one more, then I'm going to take some questions. Has it been valuable for you guys?
Yes.
Y'all are real intense in League City. Just look at me like this right here. Thought y'all take it easy. I got my kid with me, for God's sakes. This is the best thing my daughter could ever see, truthfully. To see what it's like to go out on the road and really go get it and sell and be in front of people. Right, sweetheart? Look at her little stone cold killing machine right there. I love it, girl. I love it. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to tell you. When I was a basketball coach, I was living with my roommate. I had a roommate who was the men's basketball coach. Remember that mortgage originator? We went to high school, went to elementary school together, went to high school together, we went to college together. We were roommates in college. We both become basketball coaches at the same time. He was the men's coach, I was the women's coach. Now, it's crazy. It's my neighbor. I'm starting to think he's stalking me here, okay? But we're very good friends. And I said, man, it's time for me to own my own house. Love living here at the bachelor pad. We're all single. It's all good. But I'm 25 years old. I've got a stable job. I'm not making a lot of money. I don't know what I was making, 35, 40 grand a year. I said, but man, I'm ready to buy a house, right? And guess who I used? The very first
Agent that calls.
real estate agent that contacted me. I qualified and bought a $119,000 two-bedroom condo. And I loved it. I loved it. Had a glassed-in patio on the back. You talking about a house I loved? I loved it. The agent did a good job. A couple rough spots, but he made it. And I liked him. And I did that deal with him. Afterward, he never called me. He sent me a drip campaign. He sent me what the absorption rate was in the subdivision, which I still don't understand what that means. At Halloween, he brought me a pumpkin. So I'd come home and have a pumpkin from my agent. And none of those things are bad. But what did I really want from him? Just a real relationship, man. If he would have come to one of my basketball games, because that was my whole life in those days, if he would have just came to one basketball game, he would have probably represented me for the rest of my life. Since then, I've done almost $25 million in real estate deals. I saw him one day at Jason's Deli in my town because we live in the same city. And he looked at me and he went, "I'm so sorry. I'm so dumb." I'm like, "You are dumb." Now, it's not really dumb. It's just, I look at me as a client. At 25, I didn't have any money. I was a broke high school basketball coach just trying to make it. You with me? Mm-hmm. At 35, I had a company doing millions of dollars. I was buying real estate everywhere. I fell in love with real estate. You with me? Mm-hmm. Just 10 years later, I would have been an incredible client for him if he would have just cared about me as a person. When I had a new daughter, call and say, "Man," my real estate agent called me first thing, "Can I come see your daughter?" My real estate agent now says, "I would like to take you to breakfast every Saturday morning." Standing invitation, right? I very seldom take it, by the way, because I'm home with my kids on Saturday. But he says, "Any day you want to go to breakfast with me, I'll take you. We'll just talk about life. We don't have to talk about real estate." He never very seldom says anything about real estate to me. I had my new kid. One of the first people to call me was my real estate agent. Thank you. Congratulations. I'm so proud. He has a team, team of people. They all call me. "You're one of our top clients. We just want to say thank you." I'm having a conference in a few weeks in Nashville. He called me. He said, "Every one of my agents will be there." You with me? Because we know how important support for you is. See, I'm out there just like you. I'm in the battle just like you are every day. I'm trying to get leads. I'm trying to generate business. I'm out on the road. I'm just doing the same thing you're doing. All I really want for my relationships are people who care about me as a person. Not people who want something from me. Not just genuine care and relationship. And a real estate agent is such an integral part to this because it's so emotional that if you become world class at this, this is an industry where you can become very profitable. Would you agree? In the last year, I've coached agents that are earning $400,000 or $500,000 a month. Not a year, a month. Okay? So it is possible for you. Just like me as a basketball coach. That's why we live in the greatest country in the world, man. To get up every day and go do what you love doing and help people and be rewarded financially for it. Okay? But the way you recession-proof your business is you get back to doing the basic things you got to do every day that other people are not willing to do. Other agents won't call 7 to 15 touches. Other agents won't prospect 2 hours a day. Other agents won't stay engaged with their client. And when you do, here's what's going to happen. Your referrals are going to go up. Your business is going to go up. Your pipeline is going to go up. Okay? Last thing I'll say is I hired a coach about 6 months ago. One of the best things I ever did. I've had coaches since I was a basketball coach. And I routinely invest about 10% of my income into coaching. So that adds up to be a lot of money. And I hired this coach, and it was me and my wife getting coached together. First session, he talks about intrinsic validation, which is how you lower the walls of resistance of another person. Psychologists say 40%. We withhold 40% plus from people because we don't let them in. So here's what we're saying. Don't sell me anything. Don't sell me anything. Don't sell me anything. Well, the first session was on how to validate another person so that they felt like you felt them. Does that make sense? And it was really soft and hard for me. So I got off that call and I told my wife, I said, oh my gosh, like we spent all this money on this. We come back in session number 2. Michael, we're going to cover agape love. And I'm like, oh my God. Monica, me and you'd be right in here in the same boat on this one, okay? And I'm sitting there like, this is ridiculous. I'm sitting on the table hitting my wife, right? And I'm paying all this money, and I got this coach, and 71 years old, and he's teaching me agape love, which is a deep sense of awareness of another person, what they need. You can feel the care. You with me? So at session 2, I'm still whining about it. Now remember, I'm the one paying for it. I'm the one that said we needed this coach. So touchy-feely. Never had coaching like this. Third session, we get into connection. How to connect to people's hearts and spirits. And I left that session and I told my wife, I said, everybody's looking for the magic bullet on how to make more money. This is how you make more money. What he's teaching us, and my coaching business, so I'm getting this coaching from him, and my coaching business is doing this. Month of June, we did $757,000 in the month of June. And I'm sitting there looking like, what are we doing? Have we changed something? And it was because I thought I was good at connection until I really got coached on connection. What was really happening is I was getting better. And you know why I was getting better? It's because I had a coach. And I texted him one day, I said, man, you don't know what kind of impact you had in my life. Not only my relationship with my wife is better, my relationship with my kids is better, my relationship with my employees is better, my relationship with my clients are better. Because he got me back to deep care, caring about the people I worked with every day. Does that make sense? And when you coach thousands of people like I do, it's so easy to become transactional. What's your problem? Here's a solution. Good. What's your problem? Right? It's easy to become transactional. And what he really did for me is get me back to my pure coach in me, which was caring about the people who were under my stewardship. Okay? Because I'm a high D, type A, Leo, hard driving, no nonsense person. You with me? He was pulling this out of me, and he was making me better. And so when we did 6 months with him, and I said, man, this is some of the best work I've ever done. It was uncomfortable at times. I didn't like it at times. But, man, it helped me so much. And I just want to thank you. And guess what I started doing? I started sending referrals to him. And I said, if you need that, if you're a hard-driving person and you want to get better at connection, there's nobody in the world better than this dude right here. Because he was my coach. Everybody see that? Real estate is a vehicle for you to do big things in the world. And sometimes you got to get back to that. And you can't see people as transactions. You got to see them as people. And you got to care about them as people. And when you service these people at a high level, they will come back to you over and over and over and over and over again. I want to thank you guys for having me today. Has this been fun? Yeah. I've had so much fun. Thank you. Thank you for that Baptist clap. I'm a Baptist, so I can say that. And the Baptist we go. It's a good sermon. It's a good sermon. Good sermon, Pastor. Thanks for talking about money today. Now, I do want to say this. I have worked with Chris and Monica, and they are fabulous people, number one. I love you guys, both of you. Monica and I are very similar in how hard driving we are as people. So I respect that hustle and drive in her to just get up every day and go get it, man. And I think they make a nice couple because they balance each other out very, very, very well, okay? And I have had to referee a few fights between them. But other than that, it's all good. Right in the middle of the coaching session, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I really want to say thank you for having me because I've never been to League City. I didn't even know where it was, just to be honest with you. And I have been to Galveston to speak, but I've never been to this place. So I want to thank you for being one of my clients. Thank you for introducing me to all these people. I will tell you this, man. If you're here and you want to go to another level, I don't have a pitch. I don't have an offer today because I'm here on their behalf. But if there's something you want to do with me, or you think you can play at a higher level, all I do is start off with a strategy session. And I say, I'll listen to what you're trying to do. Are you trying to go from 20 deals to 50? Are you trying to go from 2 a month to 4 a month? Are you trying to, right? I've got success schools for kids that are 90-day programs where we teach the habits of the top 1%. That are supplementary academies. They don't replace school, but they add to school on what kids are not getting. And those are blowing up like crazy, by the way. 9 to 17, and then 17 to 21. And they are literally blowing up like crazy. So we've got hundreds of kids in these success schools. They're Zoom. They get one coaching session a week with a certified coach over 90 days. We teach them. My daughter's in it right now. And then they come to a boot camp with me and spend a day with me and my team, and we work on how to find their talents. I think it's totally disruptive in the education system. So I'm very passionate about that. We also do couples retreats. We have a beautiful house in Florida. We rent these nice big houses in watercolor Florida, which I kind of call the I don't know what you would call it. I call it like the Hamptons of Florida. Just beautiful plantation houses, beautiful beaches, and if you ever seaside, if you ever seen the movie The Truman Show, that's where they made the movie The Truman Show. So we have a house down there, and we have these big, nice houses where couples come down. We spend 3 days with couples. My wife wrote a book called Living with a Monster, and okay, and we got one coming out called Raising a Monster. No, our coaching program is called Monster Producer, and that's why my wife kind of played off that, because people are always asking her, what's it like to live with Coach Burt? And she said, it ain't easy living with the monster. And so she wrote a book on it called Living with the Monster, and it's really how two people get on the same page, how they do something big. We're not therapists, so don't freak out. It's not like Couples Retreat the movie where we do 8 hours of skill building. Because that'd be miserable there, okay? It's literally just you come down, you hang out. There's typically 15 couples there. We do have one that's all real estate in December. That's all real estate couples. So if that's something you're interested in, just make sure you see me and I have your information. And then we do coaching. We do all different types of coaching, okay? And I will be coming out with a singles retreat, if some of y'all are asking at some point. Because I do get asked that all the time, like, hey, you don't have a singles retreat. I'm like, all right, fair enough. But if you are interested in doing something, Chris, what would you tell people is the value of having a coach?
Well, it actually opens your eyes to things you may have not thought of, or reminded you of things that you kind of already knew, but you just kind of need that kick in the butt sometimes. So,
Yeah.
Because it's easy to kind of get caught up on daily life and daily things, and sometimes it's nice to just be reminded that, hey, you still need to do these things.
Yeah. A good coach is a professional reminder. It's like you should be, every one of y'all know you should be following up better. Yes or no?
Yes.
The way I framed it up today just shed some light on it. You know you should be prospecting 2 hours a day. Okay? You know you should be following up with people you've sold houses to. Okay? These are not new, novel, unique things. This is me coaching thousands of real estate agents going, man, they all struggle with the same thing. They struggle with follow-up. They struggle with discipline to get in there and do it every day. They struggle. The coach in me is like, you got to get in the gym and go. Like it don't magically happen, right? We got to practice. We got to role play. The military doesn't hand a person a machine gun and say, watch a video. Good luck. Right? They practice. Now, interesting point. Then we'll take a few questions. Then we're going to head to the airport. When you watch the Maverick show, the Top Gun, I went back and watched all the interviews with real Top Gun instructors, a real Top Gun flight test. And here's what they said. They only fly about 45 minutes a day. They said on a good day, they would fly maybe an hour. The rest of their time is spent training. They train, right? When I was in Houston last time, I went to Joel Osteen's church, just because I've never seen Joel Osteen preach, and I like going to different churches when I'm around the country. And Osteen spends one full day practicing for that 23-minute sermon. Spends a whole day doing nothing but memorizing, which is why it's so fluid. He sits there and practices it. That's the only thing on his schedule, because he knows on that Sunday he's going to be in front of millions of people. You see that? One day of practice for 23 minutes. So I come from the world of we should be role-playing. We should be testing. We should be working this. We should spend time every day getting coached. Then we go into battle. We get coached and we go into battle. We get coached and we go into battle. Because in athletic world, we literally practice 3 or 4, 5 hours a day. Kids were with me 5.5 hours a day when I was their coach. I started coaching real estate people, and I'm like, they don't ever practice. They don't ever test. They don't ever role play. They don't ever simulate. They just go out into the world, and if they're not closing people, they just keep doing the same thing because there's no correction. There's no feedback, right? There's nobody saying, hey, you could do it better. You could do it this way, okay? So that would be my point to you of why you need a coach in your life, is somebody to help you. And I know a lot of people think, you probably think Coach Burt's very expensive. That's what a lot of people, so they never even ask me. The truth is, no. We have programs that start as low as a couple $100s a month that to get you started. I mean, a lot of people say, well, he's so expensive, I could never hire a coach like that. And that's simply not true. You just don't know, right? So we have programs that are monthly programs. We have 6-month programs. So if you're interested in something, all I say is just walk up to me and just give me your business card, and we'll follow up with you. No obligation. Fair enough? Okay, what questions do you have? My daughter's out there dying to sell some books. And she said she just learned how to use Square, so she learned how to accept a credit card. So if she runs your card for 1,000 versus 10, hey, Monica, take care of it. What questions do you guys have for me? Yes.
So you're scaled at this point. For someone who's new,
yeah.
Obviously you're calling everybody instead of your gold group.
Yep.
When you kind of are going through, do you kind of disseminate and say, these are my people that I want to stay in front of, and then these are the people that maybe I delegate out? How does that look for you?
Yeah, great question. What I do is I put people into categories, okay? So I have what I would call blue marlins, which are big fish, okay? And I have a category that I say, this is a big blue marlin. So think bluegill, small, blue marlin, big, okay? Then I have what I call my hit list every day, people I think I can help. So if I was selling real estate, power base, I'd sit down and make that power base of all my connections. Who do I go to church with? Who am I around? Who do I go to the gym with? Who do I work out with? And I call that my hit list. All people that I think I can help, okay? And people pop into my brain all the time, and I write them down. Okay? Then I go to what's called my farm club of people who have indicated interest that we haven't closed. They haven't seen enough to make a decision, right? They need those 7 touches. Then I go to my red zone, people who are close to making a buying decision, right? And they get my immediate attention during the day. Okay? Then I go to my current clients. How do I stay involved in their life? So I got a little system that I use. I wrote a book on that called Legacy Selling. Legacy Selling. And what it is if I was new, if I left today and moved to League City and left coaching, here's the first thing I'll know. This is a full contact sport. The more contacts you get, the more contracts you're going to have. And when you study high-level connectors, like Farazi wrote a book on this called Who's Got Your Back and Never Eat Alone. And I saw him speak in 2008 or something, and he held up his phone. He said, I got 6,000 names in my phone number right now, and every one of them will take my phone call if I call them. And I looked at my phone. I had 686. And I'm like, man, this dude is so good at connecting. You follow me? See, to me, when I say you don't need more money, you need more people, the truth is every one of you are buyers of something, right? Every one of you are going to buy something today. I may not be able to help you. You may not. Like I had a person calling today that needed a therapist. Here's the deal. I have an affiliate relationship with a therapist. So a guy on my sales team said, we can't sell him anything. I said, yeah, we can. I have a therapist that we send business to, and they send us referral commissions back. There's probably nothing you could come to me with and say, man, I got to do if I don't have a relationship with somebody. Okay? I generate about $500,000 a year in affiliate fees. That's money to me for introducing people. Everybody with me? So if you come to me and said, I want to go to your couples retreat, but I feel like we need some therapy, I got a therapist for you. If you come to me and say, I want to write a book, I got somebody who can write the book for you. You come to me and say, look, I'm a broker of a real estate company, and I don't have anything. I'm like, man, I got the #1 coach for brokers in the world with. You see where I'm going? And I'm making money back from introducing people. See, that's in a recession. I started a publishing company in the recession. We did $1 million in the first year. And it was because people wanted to write a book, and I knew how to write books. So I built a little team. The little team wrote books for people, and we made money. Then I decided it was too heavy. I didn't want to be in that business. So then I started referring people. Got a company that does it, built a relationship with them, referred them to those people, and then I get a commission back to me for brokering the deal. So I go places, and people say, I've always wanted to write a book. And I say, okay, I got somebody who can help you. Hey, does that make sense? So in my opinion, a problem with real estate agents is they're not diversified enough in their income. So you only got one flow of income. Commission. Now, what if you're not selling houses this week, but you can't make your money any other way? Everybody see that? I try to build 12 or 13 flows of income. So if this one's not, like Success School's a new one. It's real popular right now. Why? Because schools are not working. Right? Everybody with me? They just ain't working. So what I'm doing is bringing in new revenue by solving a different problem. But it's still using the same talent to solve the problem. Now, I don't run the Success Schools. I have a woman that runs them. I create the content. I market it and package it because that's my talent. I come in and do the boot camps. But I got a woman that loves teaching the kids. She loves it, right? She calls Ella Grace while I'm on the road. Are you checking in on her? Just making you do it? Have you killed Daddy yet? You with me? So to me, that's a big challenge with real estate agents is I would get your income to, number one, you need to focus on your primary flow of income, which is selling houses. But number two, you need to always be thinking about diversification. So what happens if the whole world stops and rates go to 15%? Nobody buys a house. What are you going to do then? See where I'm going? And I start saying, are you sending business to this company? Do you have an affiliate fee? Are you sending money to attorneys? Do you have an affiliate fee with them? Are you sending money to CPAs? Do you have an insurance person? See, my real estate agent come to me and said, I'm sending all this money to my insurance agent, but I'm not getting anything. I said, man, get you a good referral relationship with an insurance person that'll share in the spoils. You need to get rid of that bozo. He's getting all the money, but you're doing all the selling. Everybody with me? And that dude was like sponsoring something for $500 a year. I'm like, that is so low level, man. Like get involved in this, okay? Okay, don't put that on. They'll know who it is if you put that up too. I got to watch what I say when I'm in other places. No names. All right, good question. Does that help you though? All right, other questions?
I'll cut that for a fee.
Thank you. For a fee. You just see my daughter, right? Any other questions today?
I have a quick.
Sure.
When you were talking about the touches for like a new client, new lead, do you spread that out over how long?
Depends on the velocity. This is a good question. Depends on the velocity of the deal. If I come to you, this is how I ask people. Monica, on a scale of 1 to 10, how serious are you about this? And if she says anything above a 6, I think she's on go. What I'm hearing from you is that if I bring you something that fits, you're ready to go. Okay? So the follow-up is going to be, Monica, this is going to be real intense, right? For the next week or so, till we find this property for you. I'm going to be following up with you every day. It's different than if Monica says, I'm just looking. I'm at a 3 or 4. If you find something for us, send it to me. That's different than saying, hey, I'm ready to go. Now, where I bought a house in Watercolor, we bought that house for $3.35 million, and it was off market. So I went down there and got the best real estate agent, and I said, this is what I want you to find me. Here's what he said back to me. He said, with your permission, I'm going to go get it. He said, but when I call you and tell you I have it, you have less than 30 seconds to say yes. Let me tell you why. At that time, there was less than 5 houses on the market for inventory. He said, if I can figure out how to pull this off for you, and I can convince, he said, I know exactly which house I think I can get you. I'm going to go negotiate with the homeowner, but when I call you, I'm telling you, you better be ready to say yes. Now, I'll walk through it, do a video tour for you, but that's how tight this timeline is. Look at how he coached me. So he called me one day. He said, I've got the deal. It's $3.35 million. I told him not to go over 3. You dang real estate agents always go over. He said, it's just $350,000 over, Coach. Come on. So I said, give me one for $3 million. He got me one $3.35 million. Here's what he said. He said, you could sell it in less than an hour for $4.2. Okay? So let's go ahead and get that word out of the pay, right? He said, I've convinced him to sell it to you at $3.35, but you cannot hesitate. And sure enough, we got it under contract, and as soon as we did, the wife had a fit that they were going to sell the property and tried to back out of the deal. But we already had it under contract. Everybody see that? Yep. So we got the deal done, but if I would have hesitated, we wouldn't have had that deal. Now, why am I telling you that? There was a sense of intensity there. So he's called me every day. I'm working this one, I'm working this one, I'm working this one, okay? When I bring it to you, it's going to be tight. We got to get it done. Are you good with this? Yes, sir. So he called me and said, you got 30 seconds, man. I'm going to show it to you, and it's either yes or no, and we're in or out, right? Had to have all the financing lined up, no playing games, because most people down there buy with cash. So they're buying $5, $6, $7 million houses with cash and not even thinking twice about it. They overpay for everything. So it's like getting a steal when you get something. You with me? So that's what I would tell you. God bless you, guys. Thanks for having me today.